In the last episode, Alex, Carter, and Kael escaped the orbital platform with vital intel on the Galactic Council's plans, but their daring heist attracted the Council's ruthless agents, who vowed to capture or eliminate them. The duo fled to the lawless asteroid belt, forging an uneasy alliance with Arcturus, a shrewd miner with secrets of his own. As they navigated the treacherous expanse, Alex's leadership was put to the test. Alex's eyes scanned the horizon, his gaze darting between the rocky outcroppings and drifting debris. The asteroid belt stretched out before him like an endless graveyard, a maze of twisted metal and ice. Kael's voice crackled over the comms, his tone laced with concern. "We're reading multiple hostiles closing in, Alex. At least a dozen ships, and they're not friendly." Alex's gut twisted as he assessed their situation. Their small ship, the Maverick's Revenge, was agile but outgunned. Arcturus, hunched over the navigation console, muttered under his breath as he plotted their course. "I've got an idea," Alex said, a plan forming in his mind. "Arcturus, can you get us into the heart of the belt?" Somewhere Thale hesitated to follow. Arcturus raised an eyebrow, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "You're not thinking of hiding in plain sight, are you?" Alex nodded. "We're going to lose them in the rift." The rift was a notorious asteroid field, a labyrinth of narrow tunnels and treacherous gravitational eddies. It was a gambler's move, but Alex had no other cards to play. As they dove into the rift, the ship shuddered and lurched, throwing Alex against his restraints. Kael cursed, wrestling with the controls. "This is insane, Alex." Alex's eyes locked on the navigation display, his mind racing with the odds. "We're not out of this yet. Arcturus, give me a status report on our pursuers." Arcturus' voice was steady. "They're holding back, trying to flush us out. But we've got a problem. There's something else in the rift. Something big." Alex's heart sank as a massive asteroid cruiser emerged from the darkness, its guns trained on the Maverick's Revenge. Alex's ingenuity was put to the test as he outmaneuvered the cruiser, but not without sustaining significant damage. As they limped out of the rift, Alex knew their respite was short-lived. The Council's agents would be back, and next time they wouldn't be so lucky. With the decoding device still within their grasp, Alex faced a daunting decision. Should he press on, risking everything to unlock the ancient technology, or search for Arcturus, who had been taken by the Council's agents? The fate of their rebellion hung in the balance as Alex steeled himself for the trials ahead. Previously, Alex, Carter, and Kael escaped the orbital platform with crucial intel, but their daring heist attracted the Council's ruthless agents, who vowed to capture or eliminate them. As they navigated the treacherous asteroid belt, Alex's leadership was put to the test, and they narrowly escaped the Council's forces by hiding in the rift. As the Maverick's Revenge limped out of the asteroid field, Alex's thoughts were consumed by the daunting decision ahead. He stood on the ship's battered bridge, his eyes fixed on the navigation display, the silence between him and Kael heavy with uncertainty. "Kael, I need you to hack into the Council's frequency," Alex said, his voice low and urgent. "We need to know what they're planning to do with Arcturus." Kael nodded, his fingers flying across the console. "I am in, Alex, but be prepared for bad news." The console beeped, and Kael's eyes widened as he listened to the encrypted transmission. "It's worse than we thought, Alex. The Council is taking Arcturus to the Archon's Spire, their most secure facility. They're going to use him to lure us into a trap." Alex's gut twisted with anxiety. He knew the Archon's Spire was a fortress virtually impenetrable, but he also knew he couldn't abandon Arcturus, not after the miner had risked everything to help them. "I need a plan, Kael," Alex said, his mind racing with possibilities. "We can't let them use Arcturus as bait. We have to get him out." Kael's gaze locked onto Alex's, a hint of determination in his voice. "I've got an idea, Alex, but it's going to require some creative problem-solving." As Kael outlined his plan, Alex's eyes narrowed, his thoughts whirling with the risks and possibilities. It was a long shot, but it was their only chance to rescue Arcturus and keep the rebellion alive. "Let's get to work, Kael," Alex said, a resolute smile spreading across his face. "We've got an Archon to infiltrate." With the stakes higher than ever, Alex and Kael set in motion a daring rescue operation, one that would push their skills, their loyalty, and their friendship to the breaking point. But as they delved deeper into the heart of the Council's stronghold, they began to unravel a sinister plot that threatened to destroy not just their rebellion, but the very fabric of the galaxy. And Alex, the leader of the rebellion, was about to face his greatest challenge yet. Previously, Alex, Carter and Kael narrowly escaped the Galactic Council's forces by hiding in the rift, but now they must rescue their ally Arcturus from the Council's secure facility, the Archon's Spire, where he's being held captive to lure them into a trap. As Alex and Kael pored over the schematics of the Archon's Spire, Kael's words echoed in Alex's mind. "This is a death trap. Alex, we're walking into a nightmare." But Alex had made his decision, and he was willing to risk everything to save Arcturus. The Maverick's Revenge emerged from the rift, its engines roaring as it hurtled towards the spire. Alex's heart raced with anticipation, his mind focused on the plan Kael had outlined. They would infiltrate the facility through a narrow ventilation shaft, avoiding the patrolling guards and making their way to the detention block where Arcturus was being held. But as they approached the spire, a cold realization dawned on Alex. The Council had anticipated their move, and a swarm of fighters was waiting for them, surrounding the spire like a deadly halo. "Incoming!" Kael shouted, his fingers flying across the console as he scrambled to raise the ship's defenses. Alex's gaze locked onto the navigation display, his mind racing with the impossible odds. They couldn't take on the entire Council fleet alone. But then a spark of inspiration ignited within him. "Kael, can you hack into the Spire's mainframe?" Alex asked, a reckless grin spreading across his face. Kael's eyes widened as he nodded, his fingers already typing away. "I am in, Alex. But what are you planning?" Alex's smile grew wider as he outlined his daring strategy, one that would either save Arcturus or seal their fate forever. As the Maverick's Revenge dodged and weaved through the swirling dogfight, Alex and Kael leapt into action, their plan unfolding like a high-stakes game of chance. They would use the Spire's own security systems against the Council, creating a temporary window of chaos that would allow them to sneak into the detention block. But as they breached the facility, Alex knew that was only the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead, in the treacherous underworld of Council politics, where allegiances were forged and broken like fragile glass. With the fate of the rebellion hanging in the balance, Alex and Kael delved deeper into the heart of the Archon's Spire, ready to face whatever secrets and surprises the Council had in store for them. Previously, Alex, Carter and Kael infiltrated the Archon's Spire to rescue Arcturus, but were met with a swarm of Council fighters. Alex's quick thinking led to a daring plan to hack into the Spire's mainframe, using its security systems against the Council to create a window of chaos and sneak into the detention block. As Alex and Kael burst into the detention block, the sterile white corridors and rows of cells seemed to stretch on forever. The air was thick with the smell of disinfectant and fear. Alex's heart pounded in his chest as they moved swiftly, scanning for any sign of Arcturus. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows. Dr. Alara Vex, her eyes blazing with a mixture of determination and desperation. "Alex, thank the stars you're here. I've been trying to reach you." Alex cut her off, his gaze scanning the corridor. "Arcturus, where is he?" "Doctor." Vex's expression faltered and Alex's heart sank. Thave moved him to the interrogation wing. "You have to be quick, Alex. The Council's agents are closing in." Without hesitation, Alex and Kael sprinted down the corridor, Dr. Vex hot on their heels. They burst through the doors of the interrogation wing, where Arcturus was strapped to a chair, his face bruised and swollen. A cold, calculating voice spoke from the shadows. "Ah, Alex Carter, I've been waiting for you." Alex's eyes locked onto the figure emerging from the darkness. Counselor Adidia, his eyes gleaming with triumph. "You're just in time to witness the end of your rebellion." Arcturus has been persuaded to reveal the secrets of the ancient technology. Alex's world went dark as Arcturus' gaze met his, a hint of apology and shame flickering in his eyes. The stakes had never been higher. Alex knew they had to act fast, but the Council's agents were closing in, and the fate of the rebellion hung precariously in the balance. As they fought to free Arcturus and escape the Archon's spire, Alex realized that the real challenge lay not in outsmarting the Council, but in confronting the demons of his own past. The ghosts of his father's sacrifice, the weight of his own destiny, and the true cost of leadership threatened to consume him. Could Alex find a way to overcome his personal struggles and save the rebellion, or would the Council's ruthless grip crush the spirit of humanity once and for all? Previously, Alex, Carter and Kael infiltrated the Archon's spire to rescue Arcturus, but were met with a swarm of Council fighters. They managed to hack into the spire's mainframe, using its security systems against the Council to create a window of chaos and sneak into the detention block, only to discover Arcturus being interrogated by Counselor Aditya. As Counselor Aditya's words hung in the air, Alex felt a familiar fire ignite within him. He charged forward, determination coursing through his veins like liquid steel. "Y'all never break us, Aditya," Alex spat, his eyes locked onto the Counselor. "We'll take back what's rightfully ours, and y'all pay for your crimes." Dr. Vex and Kael moved to flank Alex, forming a united front against the Council's agents. The air was electric with tension as the three rebels prepared to face off against their oppressors. But just as the battle was about to begin, a sudden alarm pierced the air, and the lights in the interrogation wing began to strobe wildly. "What's happening?" Counselor Aditya snarled, his eyes darting towards the control panels. "The mainframe is going critical," Dr. Vex exclaimed, her eyes fixed on the screens. "Someone's hacked into the system, disabling the security protocols." Alex's gaze locked onto Arcturus, who gave a subtle nod. A smile spread across Alex's face as he realized the truth. The ragtag coalition of rebels, miners, and outcasts had launched a surprise attack on the Archon's spire, providing the perfect distraction for their escape. With the Council's agents momentarily stunned, Alex and his allies made their move. They fought their way through the chaos, overcoming the interrogation wing's defenses and making a break for the docking bays. Their plan was to commandeer a ship and make a break for the outer reaches of the galaxy, where the rebellion could regroup and prepare for its next move. As they burst into the docking bay, Alex's heart leapt with excitement. Before them lay the sleek, high-tech vessel they had been searching for, the very same ship Arcturus had used to escape the Council's clutches years ago. But their joy was short-lived, as a swarm of Council fighters emerged from the hangar, guns blazing. The stakes had never been higher. Alex knew they had to escape, but the Council's relentless pursuit threatened to crush their spirits. It was time to put everything on the line, to risk it all for the sake of humanity's future. Alex took a deep breath, his eyes scanning the horizon. The battle ahead would be brutal, but he was ready to face it head-on. "Let's do this," Alex shouted, his voice carrying above the din of battle. "We're taking back our galaxy, one ship at a time." With a fierce cry, Alex, Kael, Dr. Vex, and Arcturus launched themselves into the fray, their ship a beacon of hope in a desperate bid to outmaneuver the Council and forge a new path for humanity. Previously, Alex, Carter and his allies infiltrated the Archon's spire, rescuing Arcturus from Counselor Aditya's clutches. As they fought their way to the docking bay, they discovered the ship they needed to escape, but the Council's relentless pursuit threatened to crush their spirits. As the Council fighters surrounded them, Alex's ship, the Maverick's Revenge, shuddered under the barrage of laser fire. The odds were against them, but Alex's determination only grew stronger. He leaned into the cockpit, his eyes locked on the navigation charts scrolling across the console. "We need to shake them off our tail," Alex yelled to Kael, who was frantically working the ship's defenses. "I am trying, Alex, but they're closing in fast." Kael shouted back, his hands moving swiftly across the console. Suddenly, Dr. Vex burst into the cockpit, her eyes sparkling with desperation. I think I can hack into the nearby asteroid field's navigation beacons. We can use them to create a temporary cloak, giving us a narrow window to escape. Alex didn't hesitate. Do it, Vex. Now's our chance to get out of here. With Dr. Vex's quick thinking, the Maverick's revenge vanished from the Council's radar, and they narrowly avoided destruction. As they emerged from the asteroid field, Alex let out a sigh of relief, but his respite was short-lived. A transmission from an unknown source crackled through the comms system. Alex Carter, this is Nova Haven, the Rebellion's secret base. We've been monitoring your progress. You've got the Council on your tail, and we're willing to help. Meet us at the old abandoned refinery on planet Tartarus. We'll provide you with the resources and manpower to take the fight to the Council. But be warned, Alex, the Council won't stop until they crush the rebellion. You're the key to our survival. Alex's heart raced as he looked around at his team. They had just been handed a lifeline, but the stakes had never been higher. He knew that trusting Nova Haven was a risk, but it was a chance they had to take. Set a course for Tartarus, Alex ordered, his voice firm with determination. We're taking the fight to the Council, and we're not backing down. As the Maverick's revenge soared through the galaxy, Alex felt the weight of responsibility settle onto his shoulders. He was no longer just a rebel, he was the symbol of hope for humanity's future. The battle ahead would be brutal, but Alex was ready to face it head-on, knowing that the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Previously, Alex Carter and his allies escaped the Council's clutches by hacking into the asteroid field's navigation beacons and received a transmission from Nova Haven, the Rebellion's secret base, offering them resources and manpower to take the fight to the Council. As the Maverick's revenge pierced through the Tartarus atmosphere, Alex's nerves hummed like a live wire. He had never been one to shy away from risks, but the gravity of Nova Haven's promise weighed heavily on his shoulders. What kind of operation was he getting himself into? And what kind of people were behind this mystical rebellion? The rusting hulk of the abandoned refinery loomed before them, its crumbling spires reaching toward the toxic clouds like skeletal fingers. Alex's instincts screamed warning signals, but he pushed them aside. This was the only chance they had to take down the Council. As they docked the Maverick's revenge, a procession of heavily armed guards emerged from the refinery's entrance, their eyes hidden behind mirrored visors. Alex's hand instinctively went to the blaster holstered at his hip, but Kael's reassuring presence at his side kept him still. A figure emerged from the shadows, her piercing blue eyes locking onto Alex like a magnet. "Welcome, Alex Carter," she said, her voice husky and confident. "I am Arya, Nova Haven's leader. We've been waiting for you." Arya's words dripped with an air of authority, but Alex sensed a hidden vulnerability beneath her tough exterior. As they walked through the labyrinthine corridors of the refinery, Alex noticed the makeshift nature of the rebellion's setup. Scavenged equipment, hastily assembled shelters, and the constant hum of generators all hinted at a desperate struggle for survival. "We're not just fighting against the Council," Arya said, her voice taking on a hint of desperation. "We're fighting against time. The Council's developing a new weapon, one that could crush the rebellion's last hopes. We need your expertise to help us steal the blueprints." Alex's mind raced with the implications. A weapon capable of annihilating the rebellion would give the Council unchecked power. He knew what he had to do. "I am in," Alex said, extending his hand. Arya's grip was firm, a spark of determination igniting in her eyes. "Then let's get to work, Alex Carter. The fate of humanity is counting on us." As they delved deeper into the heart of the refinery, Alex couldn't shake off the feeling that Nova Haven was hiding secrets of its own. But for now, he was willing to take the risk. The Council's downfall was within his grasp, and he wouldn't let anything stand in his way. The stakes had never been higher. The battle ahead would be brutal, but Alex was ready to face it head-on, knowing that the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Previously, Alex Carter and his allies escaped the Council's clutches and received a transmission from Nova Haven, the rebellion's secret base, offering them resources and manpower to take the fight to the Council. Alex and his team infiltrated Nova Haven, a makeshift rebellion headquarters hidden in an abandoned refinery, where they met Arya, the enigmatic leader who revealed the Council's plans to develop a devastating weapon that could crush the rebellion. As Alex shook Arya's hand, sealing his commitment to the rebellion, Kael's gaze lingered on the makeshift control center, where a dozen rebels worked tirelessly to crack the Council's encryption codes. The air was thick with tension, and the hum of generators underscored the urgency of their mission. Nova Haven's resources are at your disposal, Arya said, leading Alex and Kael to a cramped, dimly lit chamber filled with holographic schematics and salvaged engineering tools. But time is running out. The Council's weapon, codenamed Erebus, is nearing completion. We need those blueprints to stand a chance against it. Alex's eyes scanned the room, taking in the scope of the task ahead. He spotted a makeshift workstation, cluttered with discarded components and half-built prototypes. A spark of inspiration ignited within him. I think I can help with that. As Alex and Kael worked tirelessly to crack the Council's encryption, the rebels around them began to open up, sharing stories of lost loved ones, brutal suppression, and the desperate struggle for survival. Alex's initial wariness gave way to a sense of camaraderie, and he found himself drawn to the rebels' determination to fight against overwhelming odds. But amidst the growing sense of unity, a whisper of doubt crept into Alex's mind. What secrets was Nova Haven hiding, and what lay hidden behind Arya's enigmatic smile? With the blueprints mere hours from being stolen, Alex's instincts screamed warning signals. He turned to Kael, his voice low and urgent. "We need to get out of here now. Something's off." Kael's eyes locked onto the rebels, his hand instinctively reaching for his blaster. "What do you mean?" "I don't know, but I think Arya's hiding something from us. We can't trust her." As they prepared to make a move, the refinery's alarms blared to life, and the walls shook with the impact of incoming artillery fire. The Council had found them. "Looks like our window just got a lot smaller," Kael growled as the rebels scrambled to defend their base. Alex's heart raced with adrenaline as he rallied the rebels, his strategic thinking on overdrive. The Council might have superior firepower, but Alex had a plan. With Nova Haven's resources and his own ingenuity, they could turn the tide of battle. But as the fight raged on, Alex couldn't shake off the feeling that Arya's secrets would be the key to their survival or their downfall. The fate of humanity hung precariously in the balance, as Alex Carter, the Maverick's leader, faced off against the Council's ruthless forces in a battle that would decide the course of history. Previously, Alex Carter and his allies infiltrated Nova Haven, the rebellion's secret base, where they discovered the Council's plans to develop a devastating weapon codenamed Erebus. As they worked to crack the Council's encryption codes, Alex's instincts screamed warning signals, suspecting Arya, the rebellion's enigmatic leader, of hiding secrets. With the Council's forces closing in, Alex rallied the rebels, but the battle's outcome hung precariously in the balance. Arya's eyes locked onto Alex, her gaze piercing through the chaos. "We need to fall back now. The refinery's defenses won't hold for much longer." Her words were laced with an unsettling urgency, as if she knew more than she was letting on. As Alex and the rebels retreated deeper into the refinery, the Council's artillery fire intensified, threatening to crush them beneath its relentless pounding. The air grew thick with smoke and desperation, and the once unified rebels began to fracture, their fear and uncertainty palpable. In the heart of the refinery, Alex stumbled upon a hidden chamber, hidden behind a false wall. Arya stood at the center, surrounded by holographic schematics and cryptic data streams. The room was a hub of clandestine activity, and Alex's suspicions were confirmed. Arya had been hiding something. "What is this place?" Alex demanded, his voice low and even. Arya's smile was enigmatic, yet laced with a hint of desperation. "Welcome to the true heart of Nova Haven, Alex. This is where we've been working on a little secret project, one that could change the course of this war." As Alex's eyes scanned the room, he realized that Arya's secrets went far deeper than he had ever imagined. The stakes had escalated to a critical point, and Alex was forced to make a choice: trust Arya and risk everything, or take matters into his own hands and forge a new path. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, as Alex Carter navigated the treacherous landscape of rebellion, deceit, and sacrifice. The battle for Nova Haven was far from over, and the ultimate question loomed: what secrets would be revealed, and at what cost previously? Alex Carter discovered Arya's hidden chamber in Nova Haven, revealing her secret project, which threatened to upend the balance of power in the rebellion. As Council forces closed in, Alex was torn between trusting Arya or taking control of the situation. "What is this project?" Alex asked, his voice firm but wary. As he stepped forward, his eyes locked on Arya's. Arya's smile widened, and she gestured to the holographic displays. "Behold, Alex, the future of our revolution. This is Erebus II, a device capable of harnessing the ancient technology to create an unimaginable force field. With this, we'll be invulnerable to the Council's attacks, and we'll finally be able to take the fight to them." Alex's eyes widened as he scanned the schematics, his mind racing with the implications. "This is incredible, but how did you keep this from us?" Arya's gaze faltered for a moment, and Alex sensed a flicker of uncertainty. "Let's just say I had my reasons. But now, with the Council closing in, we need to get this device online and fast. Are you with me, Alex?" As Alex hesitated, a loud explosion rocked the chamber, shaking the very foundations of Nova Haven. The air was filled with the acrid smell of smoke and ozone, and the sound of Council troops storming the refinery grew louder. "Arya, we need to move now," Alex shouted, grabbing her arm and pulling her toward the exit. But it was too late. The Council's forces had breached the chamber, and Arya's secret project was about to fall into the wrong hands. Previously, Alex Carter discovered Arya's secret project, Erebus II, a device capable of harnessing ancient technology to create an unimaginable force field. But their conversation was cut short as Council forces stormed the refinery, putting Arya's project and their lives at risk. As Alex pulled Arya towards the exit, the Council troops closed in, their blasters blazing. In the chaos, Alex's grip on Arya's arm faltered and she was torn from his grasp. He stumbled back, his eyes scanning the room in desperation, but Arya was nowhere to be seen. In her place, a figure emerged from the smoke-filled shadows: Kael, his gun drawn, a fiery determination in his eyes. "Alex, we need to get out of here now," Kael yelled, grabbing Alex's arm and pulling him towards the exit. Alex didn't need to be told twice. Together, they sprinted through the refinery, the sounds of blaster fire and screams echoing through the corridors. They burst into the docking bay, where their ship, the Nova's Hope, waited, its engines roaring to life. As they fled Nova Haven, Alex's mind reeled with questions. What had happened to Arya? Had she been captured or worse? And what would the Council do with Erebus II? The possibilities sent a chill down his spine. "Kael, we need to get back to the asteroid belt," Alex said, his eyes fixed on the navigation charts. "We have to warn the others. The Council can't be allowed to get their hands on that device." Kael nodded, his expression grim. "Agreed, but we're not going to make it without a fight. We've got multiple Council ships on our tail." Alex's grip on the armrest tightened as he gazed out at the swirling vortex of asteroids ahead. They were about to dive into the most treacherous region of space, with the entire Council fleet hot on their heels. But Alex knew they had no choice. The fate of the rebellion and the galaxy depended on it. The Nova's Hope shuddered, thrown off course by a nearby explosion. Alex's heart skipped a beat as he struggled to regain control. They were running out of time and options. That's when he saw it, a narrow window of opportunity, a chance to lose their pursuers and find temporary refuge. A small, unassuming asteroid, its surface cratered and worn, beckoned in the distance. "Hold on, Kael," Alex warned, his voice tense. "We're going in." With a deep breath, Alex steered the Nova's Hope towards the asteroid, praying they would make it out alive. Previously, as Alex and Kael fled Nova Haven, they were pursued by the Council's ruthless agents, and their lives hung in the balance. Meanwhile, Arya's fate remained unknown, and the Erebus II device, capable of harnessing ancient technology, was now in the Council's hands. As the Nova's Hope hurtled towards the asteroid, Alex's heart raced with anticipation. He had never navigated such a treacherous maneuver, but he had no choice. The Council ships were closing in, and this was their only hope for escape. "Hold on, Kael," Alex yelled, his hands gripped tightly around the controls. The ship shuddered and groaned, protesting the sharp turn. Kael's knuckles turned white as he braced himself against the armrest. The asteroid loomed large, its craters and ridges blurring together as they plunged towards its surface. The Nova's Hope scraped against the asteroid's rough exterior, sending sparks flying in all directions. Alex's stomach lurched as the ship's gravity compensators struggled to maintain equilibrium. For a heart-stopping moment, they teetered on the brink of disaster, the asteroid's gravity threatening to crush them. Then, in a flash of inspiration, Alex spotted a narrow crevice, partially hidden by the asteroid's debris. With a flicker of hope, he steered the ship towards the opening, praying it would provide a temporary refuge. The crevice swallowed them whole, the darkness enveloping the ship like a shroud. Alex and Kael exchanged a breathless glance, their ears ringing from the cacophony of alarms and groans emanating from the ship's systems. As they caught their breath, Alex's thoughts turned to Arya. Had she been captured or worse? What would the Council do with Erebus II? The uncertainty gnawed at his mind like a festering wound. Kael's voice broke the silence. "Alex, we need to contact the rebellion. We can't let the Council get away with this." Alex nodded, his determination renewed. He activated the comms system, his eyes locked on the holographic display as it flickered to life. "Rebellion, this is Alex Carter. We have a situation. The Council has Erebus II, and we need your help to get it back." A familiar voice responded, laced with urgency. "Alex, this is Arcturus. We're on our way. Hold tight." Alex's heart swelled with gratitude. Arcturus had come through for them once again. But he knew the stakes had never been higher. The Council would stop at nothing to exploit the ancient technology, and it was up to Alex and his allies to stop them. As they waited, hidden within the asteroid's depths, Alex's mind raced with strategies and contingency plans. He knew the Council would not give up easily, and their next move would be crucial. The wait was agonizing, but eventually, the sound of engines echoed through the crevice, growing louder with each passing moment. Alex's eyes locked onto the entrance, his heart pounding in anticipation. The rebellion had arrived. With a burst of engines, the rescue ship burst into the crevice, casting a warm glow over the dark, cramped space. Alex and Kael exchanged a look of relief as they made their way towards the exit. As they emerged into the bright, starry expanse, Alex's eyes scanned the horizon, searching for any sign of the Council's pursuit. The asteroid belt stretched out before them, a seemingly endless expanse of rocks and debris. But Alex knew the Council was out there, waiting for its chance to strike. He steeled himself for the battle ahead, his heart pounding with determination. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and Alex Carter was ready to take on the responsibility. With a deep breath, Alex turned to Kael and Arcturus, his eyes burning with resolve. "It's time to take back the galaxy. Let's do this." The three of them shared a fierce, determined glance, and with that, the rebellion began its final, decisive push against the Galactic Council. In the ensuing battle, Alex's leadership and strategic thinking were put to the ultimate test. The Council forces were formidable, but Alex had assembled a coalition of rebels, miners, and outcasts who were determined to fight for their freedom. The outcome was far from certain, but one thing was clear: only one side would emerge victorious. As the battle raged on, Alex's thoughts turned to Arya and the device that had started it all. Erebus II. He knew the Council would stop at nothing to harness its power, and Alex was determined to prevent that from happening. In the heat of the battle, Alex spotted his chance. With Kael and Arcturus by his side, he spearheaded a daring assault on the Council's flagship. Blasters blazing, they fought their way through the ship's corridors, their goal clear: to retrieve Erebus II and crush the Council's tyranny once and for all. The final confrontation was intense, with Alex facing off against the Council's ruthless leader. The air was thick with tension as the two enemies locked eyes, their determination and conviction hanging in the balance. In the end, it was Alex who emerged victorious, Erebus II secure in his possession. The Council's leader lay defeated at his feet, the device's power now in the hands of the rebellion. As the Council's forces retreated in disarray, Alex stood victorious, his eyes cast upon the stars. The galaxy was forever changed, its fate now in the hands of the people, not the oppressive Council. The rebellion had triumphed, and Alex Carter had become a symbol of hope, a beacon of light in a dark galaxy. In the aftermath, as the rebels celebrated their hard-won victory, Alex's thoughts turned to Arya. He knew she was out there somewhere, her fate still unknown, but he was determined to find her to ensure her safety and freedom. The galaxy was full of uncertainties, but one thing was clear: Alex Carter had become a force to be reckoned with, a leader who would stop at nothing to protect his people and forge a brighter future. As the stars twinkled in the distance, Alex smiled, his heart filled with a sense of purpose and belonging. The galaxy would never be the same again, and Alex was proud to be a part of it. Epilogue. In the shadowy recesses of the galaxy, a figure watched as Alex Carter's legend grew, his name etched into the annals of history. Arya's eyes sparkled with pride, her heart filled with a mix of emotions. She knew Alex had become a symbol of hope, a beacon of light in a dark galaxy. And as she disappeared into the shadows, her mission clear, Arya smiled, knowing that Alex Carter's story was far from over. The galaxy was full of mysteries, and Alex was ready to face them head-on, his courage and determination blazing like a supernova in the darkness.